This is an elevator. There's no panel here. How do I make it move? And then you see the triangle over there and you're like, huh? Well, there could have been another one down here. Just saying, it's an idea. Now, let's not do the thing that I've forgotten to do in the past on more than one occasion. And I don't know why it's split there. It's alright, good. We didn't miss anything. Shut up, I'm working on it. Alright, Darkid. Now, I haven't done these in a couple of days, so hopefully I remember how. What? Right, got it. Got it. Okay. This I remember. Serious game. Well, it's good to know that I'm improving. Okay. Luckily, these ones I seem to remember okay. I'll take that. Now, dots. Hey, Skin Master, how are you today? I hope you're feeling a little better. Oops. Every time. Get that the wrong way around. Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. Right. Out. Good, I'm always just glad to get those done. Now we cut across the other way. I know there's a fancy way to avoid riding this elevator, but I don't know how to do it. That works. Okie doke. Fair enough. Okay, that counted. Oops. Not the best, not the worst, I'll take it. Yeah, that elevator does move pretty quickly. Wow, we're going to be a couple minutes ahead here. Actually, nearly 3. Oh no, actually nearly 2. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That was a rather good challenge. That was a rather good challenge. Hey, Skin Master. Oh, you probably didn't leave. But anyway, yeah. Holy crap. Tasty Bacon, thank you for the follow. I like your name. Welcome to the fan squad. I hope you stick around. That is a great emote. Tasty Bacon.
So it's...
Wait.
And so, by a backhanded, upside down...
It's easier to take, isn't it? Understandable. Got people in it. This stuff's easier to take, isn't it? Understandable. Got people in it. This, scientific knowledge. It's hard to take. Reassuring.
By the early 70s, turned it into a ghost town.
Too far.
Mass market microcomputer. The RS-80 Model 1 had a Z80 processor clocked at 1.7 megahertz, 4,096 bytes of memory.
Alrighty then.
Character black and white text display.
Saved another 20 seconds there.
Storage was a cassette recorder. All this could be yours for the low
Well,
price of 500.
we're into the eclipse. We should definitely be getting a new PB.
Had seen better days.
Certainly not going to be world record or anything like that, but that's, I mean, God, 83 cycle, obviously. But we should definitely get a new PB as long as we don't screw up the end thing. But we didn't forget anything this time, so that's an automatic time save. I've just got to do the windmills cleanly,
to say the least.
which shouldn't actually be an issue.
Apparently decided that if they
Because I do know how to do them.
they would join them.
Just when I try and do them from weird
several
angles
square blocks
or
at the
in
heart of the
a
city
bingo
were
race
bulldozed into
that I
a
screw up.
block,
So
destroying
I'm
dozens
going to
of
go
businesses,
and
including
get some
the son of
food
a pharmacy
and a drink,
once operated
and
by my great-grandfather.
I will be
In their
right
place was
back.
erected a vast 3-level shopping
Oh
complex
no!
with cinemas.
Dilly Dogs, he's not. I know
When the
he's
dust
not.
settled, only a few forlorn
He
blocks
probably finishes the eclipse around 2 minutes 20,
My
I'm
Radio
assuming.
Shack store
Something
was
like
one
that.
of those blocks.
So this is the eclipse.
Add insult.
Tasty Bacon, maybe you haven't seen
Opened a
this.
brand new
It is, I should
inside
explain,
the shopping center.
it is a
Less than
56-minute
500 feet from the store.
video that you have to watch in full in order to get
Well-lighted
this EP.
establishment with uniformed
If I wasn't on a good pace, I would skip it.
parking,
No worries, Williamson. Thank you for hanging out.
old office building next to an adult movie theater.
I will see you around next time, and we'll do more bingo races in future, and I'm looking forward to it. So you take care. Oh, you've done it. Okay, so you know. I figured you probably would if you've been watching this much, but it's worth explaining to people in case they don't know. They're like, wait, how long is he going to be talking about Shakespeare?
Demos, which ran all night in the store window for the edification of the winos who peed in our doorway.
So yeah, that's what this is. So I'm going to go and get some food and a drink, and I will be back in a few minutes. So don't go anywhere, or do, but if you do, come back in 50 minutes or less. I will see you soon. Goodbye.
There to buy anything at all. They were there to exploit a free promotion, which was the bane of Radio Shack employees for over 40 years. The Battery of the Month Club. The idea of this promotion was simple. Customers got a little red card, upon which was printed a square for each month. 12 times a year, the lucky sales clerk got to punch out a square and give the customer one brand new AAA, AA, C, D, or 9-volt battery. Of course, customers weren't allowed to choose just any grade of battery. At the time of my employment, Radio Shack offered 3 different levels of battery excellence. First were the alkalines, powerful, long-lasting, and expensive, hanging behind the counter like prescription medication in gold-embossed blister packs. These were most certainly not available through the Battery of the Month Club. Next were the high-end lead batteries, sturdy, dependable batteries, moderately priced, and prominently displayed near the front of the store. These were also not available through the Battery of the Month Club. Finally, at the bottom of the barrel were the standard lead batteries. These were literally piled in barrels, cunningly located way at the back of the store, in a dark corner near the TV antennas. Remember TV antennas? Customers who came in looking for their free Battery of the Month had to walk the entire length of the premises, past the CB radios and stereo headphones and remote-controlled racing cars. Nothing would stop them. On the first day of every month, like clockwork, those customers came in waving their little red cards. I would look up from my programming and wave them to the back of the store. It didn't matter that the batteries were only worth 29 cents. It didn't matter that most of them were already half dead. They came, they grabbed. And as far as I can remember, not one of them ever paid for a damned thing. I was such a crappy salesman. I was young and foolish. I thought my education in game design was happening at the keyboard. I almost missed the lesson coming through the front door. Fortunately, I wasn't the only person fooling around with games on micros. All over the country, people like me were experimenting. Scott Adams was coding what would soon become the world's first commercial adventure game. Remember adventure games? my future employer, Infocom, was being founded, along with other legendary companies like Online Systems, Sirius, Personal Software, and SSI. Those were exciting times. Teenagers were making fortunes. Games were cheap and easy to build. The slate was clean. But in 1979, the biggest news in gaming had nothing to do with computers. On the morning of the autumn equinox, September 20th, a new children's picture book appeared in the stores of Great Britain. This picture book was rather peculiar. It consisted of 15 meticulously detailed color paintings, illustrating a slight whimsical tale about a rabbit delivering a jewel to the moon. On the back jacket of the book was a color photograph of a real jewel, shaped like a running rabbit, 5 inches long, fashioned of 18-karat gold, suspended with ornaments and bells, together with a sun and moon of blue quartz. According to the blurb underneath, this very jewel had been buried somewhere in England. Clues pointing to its location were concealed in the text and in the pictures of the book. The treasure would belong to whoever found it first. The book was called Masquerade. It was created by an eccentric little man with divergent eyes and a talent for mischief named Kit Williams. Within days, the first printing was sold out, and the empire that never sleeps found itself in the grip of rabbit fever. Excited readers attacked the paintings with rulers, compasses, and protractors. Magazine articles and TV specials dissected the clues, floated theories, and followed with keen delight the reckless exploits of the fanatics. One obscure park, unfortunately known by the nickname Rabbit Hill, was so riddled with holes excavated by misguided treasure seekers that the authorities had to erect signs assuring the public that no gold rabbits were to be found there. Some hunters ended up seeking
Welcome
psychological
back, Darkid.
for their
Hello,
obsession.
Yarond.
The craze leapt over the Atlantic
Perfect
Ocean
timing,
and
exactly.
invaded America, France, Italy, and Germany. It sold over 1 million copies in a few months, a record unrivaled by any children's title until the advent of Harry Potter. Over 150,000 copies were sold in foreign translations, including 80,000 copies in Japanese, despite the fact that the puzzle was only
So we have 1 hour from now to beat the PB.
The Masquerade Jewel was only worth a few $1,000s. Many seekers spent far more than that in their months of exploration and travel. It was the thrill of the chase, the possibility of being the one. Treasure hunts, secret messages, and hidden things seemed to exert an irresistible appeal.
Well, that sounds pretty good to me. I'll take 245.
And this fact of human psychology has been exploited in computer games since the earliest days. It finds expression in the hidden surprises we call Easter eggs. Atari's Stephen Wright is credited with coining this term in the first issue of Electronic Games magazine. The first Easter egg in a commercial computer game appeared in an early Atari 2600 cartridge called, simply enough, Adventure. By a sequence of unlikely movements and obscure manipulations, players could discover a secret room where the words "created by Warren Robinette" appeared in flashing letters. Over the decades, Easter eggs and their evil twin, cheat codes, have become an industry within an industry. Entire magazines and websites are now devoted to their carefully orchestrated discovery and dissemination. They're part of our toolkit, our basic vocabulary, the language of computer game design. Computer gamers may have been the first to refer to hidden surprises as Easter eggs, but we certainly weren't the first to use them. Painters, composers, and artists of every discipline have been hiding stuff in their works for centuries. The recent advent of VCRs and Laserdisc players with freeze-frame capability exposed decades of secret Disney erotica. Thomas Kincaid, the self-appointed painter of light, amuses himself by hiding the letter N in his works. A number beside his signature indicates how many N's are hidden in each painting. Picasso, Dali, Raphael, Poussin, and dozens of other painters concealed all kinds of stuff in their paintings. A favorite trick was hiding portraits of themselves, their families, friends, and fellow artists in crowd scenes. El Greco loved dogs, but the Catholic Church forbid him from including any in his sacred paintings. So he hid them, usually within the outlines of celestial clouds. Composer Dmitri Shostakovich chafed under the political censorship imposed by the Soviet Ministry of Culture. His symphonies and chamber works are loaded with hidden signatures and subversive subtexts which, had they been recognized, would have sent him to Siberia. Mozart's opera, The Magic Flute, is filled with musical allusions to the rituals of the Freemasons, the ancient secret society of which he and his mentor Haydn were members. But the most famous purveyor of Easter eggs is that champion of the late Baroque, the ultimate musical nerd, Johann Sebastian Bach. Bach was a student of gematria, the art of assigning numeric values to letters of the alphabet. A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, etc. By comparing, sequencing, or otherwise manipulating these numbers, secret messages can be concealed. Bach took particular delight in the geometrical numbers 14 and 41. 14 is the sum of the initials of his last name. B equals 2, A equals 1, C equals 3, and H equals 8. 41 is the sum of his expanded initials, J.S. Bach. These two numbers show up over and over again in Bach's compositions. One of the better-known examples is his setting of the chorale Vor deinem Thron. The first line of the melody...
It's a shame that this lecture doesn't mention that Weird Al Yankovic likes to hide the number 27 in the lyrics of his songs.
Another of Bach's favorite games was the puzzle canon. A canon is a melody that sounds good when you play it on top of itself, a little bit out of sync. Frere Jacques and Row, Row, Row Your Boat are familiar examples of simple two-voice canons. But a canon can employ any number of voices, and you don't have to play each voice the same way either. You can change the octave, transpose the key, invert
Someone
the pitch,
counted the
play
posts
it
on the
backwards,
dock near the
or any
tree
combination.
house.
Finding melodies that make good
And it's code that
multi-voice
translates to
canons
Jonathan
is a
or
fussy
Blow, I
and
forget
difficult
now.
art, of which Bach was an undisputed master. Now, in a puzzle canon,
Probably.
the composer specifies the basic melody and the number of voices, but not the relationship of the voices. The student has to figure out the position and key of each voice, and whether to perform them inverted and or backwards. Bach wrote quite a number of puzzle canons. The most famous, BWV 1076, is part of a fascinating story. One of Bach's students was a fellow by the name of Lorenz Misler, founder of the Society of Musical Science. This elite, invitation-only institution devoted itself to the study of Pythagorean philosophy and the union of music and mathematics. Its distinguished membership reads like a who's who of German composers, including Handel, Telemann, and eventually Mozart. Applicants for membership in the society were required to submit an oil portrait of themselves, along with a specimen of original music. With nerdly efficiency, Society member number 14 decided to combine these admission requirements into a single work. He sat for a portrait with Elias Haussmann, official artist at the court of Dresden. This portrait, which now hangs in the gallery of the town hall in Leipzig, is the only indisputably authentic image of Bach in existence.
I don't know that one,
The
Yara.
Holtzman portrait shows Bach dressed in a formal coat with exactly 14 buttons.
I know that there's a little sandcastle in the glass factory that's a reference to Braid.
Upon which is written a puzzle canon for 6 simultaneous voices. In 1974, a manuscript was discovered which proved that this canon was the 13th in a series of exactly 14 canons based on the ground theme of the famous Goldberg variations. As if these musical gymnastics weren't enough, Bach liked to hide messages in his compositions by assigning notes to the letters. His initials, B-A-C-H, correspond to the pitch sequence B-flat, A, C, and B natural in German letter notation. This theme makes its most memorable appearance in the last bars of his final composition, The Art of Fugue, published soon after his death in 1750. The word fugue comes from the Latin fuga, which means flight, as in running away. So the art of fugue is the art of flight, the art of taking a theme and running with it. Bach wrote hundreds of fugues.
I assume you mean the second garden puzzle?
This sequence of 14. In the last and most complicated fugue in the series, the first and second sections develop normally. This is followed by the B-A-C-H signature, and then suddenly, without any warning or structural justification, the fugue stops, dead in its tracks. One of the composer's 20 children, his son...
How about you get this EP just literally standing in a corridor?
Moments after those last few notes were written. This story is probably apocryphal.
They could have orchestrated it so you were standing in the center of the cinema or something. Somewhere a little more
but in March of
theatrical.
when this
But you're literally standing in the corridor just staring at the back of the cinema screen.
Classical music industry. Sitting near the top of the classical music charts that month was a compact disc on the ECM label called Morimer. It was performed by the Hilliard Choral Ensemble